What's up, guys? Today I want to do a review that's been a long time coming on the Iron Tanks 13 millimeter lever belt. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a little backstory. For those of you who have seen my 13 millimeter Inzer lever belt review, you know that I really like that belt. But when I had my Inzer 13 millimeter lever belt for about 6 years, and during my prep for Raw Nationals in 2014, one of the levers, or one of the prongs, this prong up here, actually broke off. And so anyways, which 6 years old, not a big deal. And it's a forever lever belt, so I kind of thought to myself, okay, well, I thought, all right, well, I'll call the company and we'll see what they do. Now, I know Inzer's kind of, I don't want to, talk badly of anybody, but if you read on message boards and whatnot, they make great products, but they're kind of known for having not the greatest customer service and not being the fastest to get back to you. So I called them and they said, sure, no problem, we'll ship you a new lever. We just need $9 for return shipping. Now, $9 isn't the end of the world, but to me, owning my own business, if you have something and you make it, you call it forever, and you say you have a full replacement policy, shouldn't you pay for the shipping? I don't know. Maybe I made too much of that, but that turned me off just a little bit. Not terribly, but whatever. But during the time when I was waiting for that return lever, I obviously have to still lift. And I know Inzer takes a while. So I took a Chic lever off another belt that I had been given. And I started using that. And that lasted me for 2 weeks before I was doing 525 for sets of 4, and on like my second set, I think on the second rep, it just basically exploded. So at this point, I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. I'm so strong that I'm shattering a lever. So then I looked for different levers, and I found Lifting Large. And Lifting Large actually had colored levers, which I thought was really cool. They had a black colored lever. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I can do kind of like a dark on dark sort of looking belt. And I ordered that lever. And the first day I was using it with 500, I was doing 500 pound deadlifts. I didn't even go to lift it off the ground. I just went to brace my core and it exploded. It shattered. And Lifting Large was very nice about it. They refunded me my money, all that kind of stuff. So no big deal. So I ordered another lever from Titan because I thought, Titan's a really good name. And I had, to be fair, I haven't heard of anybody having issues with the Titan lever. So I got the lever, and that one lasted me 3 weeks before that one exploded while I was lifting. I can't remember how much weight I was lifting at the time. And so this is about a month out from Raw Nationals. And so now it's not cool anymore. It's disheartening because I have no faith in these lever belts anymore. And so I actually bought a belt off my friend, just a regular single prong buckle belt. And I used that at Raw Nationals, and I used it at a few other meets too. During that time, I had posted some of these images of me shattering these levers online, and a guy named Sam from Australia got in touch with me, and he said, hey, I've got a lever I think you can't break. Would you be willing to try it? My company's called Iron Tanks. And I said, yeah, sure, but I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use it for Raw Nationals. I just don't have any faith in it right now. He said, sure, I understand. So after Raw Nationals, he sent me a lever. Not this one. It's this is like the third iteration of the levers he has, but something like this. And I weighed it, and it was a full ounce heavier than every other lever I'd used before. So I put it on my Inzer belt I had, and I started using it. And, it didn't shatter. And but by that time, I got so used to lifting that single prong belt that I was kind of like, maybe I'll just use this. And they said, well, I'm actually making my own belts. I think you're really going to like them. I said, okay. So he sent me the first one, and it was a nice belt, but it wasn't stiff enough, in my opinion. And he actually took my input, because I said, listen, I don't think I would use this in competition. I would like it a little bit stiffer. And he said, okay, well, let me try and make something you like. And so basically came back with this belt. And I was like, okay, well, let me try it. And, when you get a belt from like an Inzer or other companies, I mean, that break-in period is significant. I mean, you are going to have like straight up like bruises on your body from breaking in those belts. Put this on the first day and it was stiff enough, but it didn't hurt. And I've never had that with any other belt. I loved this belt. And so I said, I love this belt. I would love to be able to use it at Worlds. But I got this, I think, shortly after the Arnold last year in March. So I'd love to be able to use this at Worlds, but it's not IPF approved. He said, well, what if I got it IPF approved? I said, well, then I'd be happy to use it. So he actually went through the process of getting this IPF approved, which is pretty amazing because that is not cheap. Because he wanted to make me happy. He wanted me to use his stuff at Worlds. And so it became IPF approved. And I used it at Worlds and squatted 668 pounds in it. And have been using it, ever since for almost a year now. And still haven't broken it. And it's held up extremely well. He's even sent me a few different generations of this lever because in one of them, the pin that goes here, the support pin that goes here, was a little bit short. And he said, hey, I'm sending you a new pin or a new lever because I don't like the fact that pin's too short. So he had a product that was already good enough, and he kept trying to refine it and try to make me happy, which I appreciate. So full disclosure, I am an Iron Tanks sponsored athlete, but that is because I was looking around at powerlifting sponsors, and I could have gone to any of the major sponsors, and I'm not trying to dog them, but I broke a lot of belts or a lot of levers from different sponsors, and it's hard for me to endorse something that I know I'm not going to use because I just don't trust it. So I said, hey, how would you be interested in sponsoring me? And he said yes, and so that's how I became an Iron Tank sponsored athlete. And so, full disclosure, obviously being sponsored means I have a conflict of interest, but this came after I'd already been using this, and I may love a company, but if their products aren't something I'm going to use that I think is the best I can possibly use, I'm not going to use that. Because to me, performing my best, being safe, having my best performance is the most important thing. I can say without a doubt, I love this belt. I recommend this belt to everybody who's interested in powerlifting, who wants a really good belt that is not going to have a huge break-in period, that's IPF approved, and that's got a lever that I trust, and it's stiff enough to actually give you really good support. I can't recommend this enough. It's my favorite belt. I just love it. The only downside I will say is there's a screw here. So one of the support pins is actually a screw. And on this belt, or on this lever, I had a problem with that screw backing out just a little bit. That's no big deal. You just put it back down and it's good to go. But what I did actually was I just put some blue Loctite on it and put it down in there. And ever since I put the blue Loctite on it, no problems whatsoever. So if I had to pick a downside, that'd be the downside, but it's a very easy fix. You can get blue Loctite for, super cheap. And it's a 2-minute fix. So yeah, that's it. If you're looking for a 13mm powerlifting belt, recommend you check out Iron Tanks. They are in Australia, but their shipping to the US is very reasonable, and I can almost promise you their shipping time beats most of the major powerlifting companies. I think most people are getting their stuff within 2 weeks. Don't quote me on that, but I've had a lot of people say that they got it within 2 weeks. So again, Iron Tanks lever belt. I love it, and you're going to hear this sound a lot from me. That clicking, you're going to hear that sound when I'm ready to rock. Alright guys, that's this review. Hope it was helpful, and if you have any questions, you can leave comments below.